Can we get cozy in a post-apocalyptic world? Grab that comfy cozy drink and let's find out. Hey guys, welcome to Jade Mist Gaming. Jade Mist here, and today we're checking out a newly released cozy exploration adventure game called Caravan SandWitch. As usual, we'll be looking at 10 specific categories and then giving each one a number score between 1 and 10, totaling the overall Jade score at the end of the video. And we'll be looking at graphics and art style, performance, audio, features, gameplay mechanics, story, originality, fun factor, cozy level, and replayability. But before we dive in, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell to get notified of all of my future cozy gaming content. And be sure to check out my Twitch for some more cozy gaming chaos. Alrighty, now on to the video. In Caravan SandWitch, you embark on a journey across a sci-fi province-like world, driven by a mystery through your missing sister that unfolds with each step you take. You interact with the communities on Segalo, helping them with their tasks and meeting new people along the way. Take your time to explore the world, whether in your van or on foot. Life is simple in this game. There's no combat, no death, no timer, just you, your van, and the world. Equipped with just your van and an array of essential tools, you set out on a quest to find your missing sister. Upgrade your van throughout your adventure and explorations to open up new passages and ruins. From navigating treacherous terrain to uncovering ancient ruins, every step of your journey brings you closer to unraveling the truth behind your sister's disappearance. Caravan SandWitch brings to life a beautiful art style rich in mute and soft natural tones, setting the scene for a very cozy and aesthetic gameplay, and it does well with illustrating pops of vibrant colors without really oversaturating them. As for the graphics, it takes on a cel shading approach using flat colors and hard edges, which complement the art style very well, giving it an overall clean and simple look. And as for the performance, I had no issues whatsoever running this game. I never experienced any frame drops or lagging, nor did I come across any game-breaking bugs or glitches. You can check out the system requirements right here on the screen to get a better idea on whether you'll be able to run it on your PC or not. The music in the game is what I would describe to be beautifully haunting. It's soft, whimsical, and sets the tone perfectly for the game setting, keeping you in a calm, stress-free state of mind even though you know everything around you in the game is not really supposed to be very peaceful. The soft, gentle, and ambient sounds all around you pair very well with the music choice of the game, allowing you to fully explore everything calmly. Not once did I feel it was repetitive, nor did I ever want to turn off the music. On the contrary, I wanted more. It was absolutely stunning. The choice of tones for each of the NPCs is beyond satisfying and reflects their personality types very well, giving you a decent sense of what to expect from them, leading into our next category of the story. Now, the story starts out with you receiving a distress signal from your sister that went missing 6 years ago. This new discovery of the chance that she could possibly still be alive takes you on a journey of going back to where you grew up and to get reacquainted with old friends and family. The whole story in general has good potential to be great, but I was left unsatisfied and craving more depth and detail, especially at the end. Without spoiling anything, I was beyond aggravated being left with a very undesirable cliffhanger that makes the game feel incomplete. I have no idea if the developers intend to make any additional content to progress the story, but as of right now, it just doesn't feel whole. The NPCs also felt very disconnected from one another. While they are supposed to be a whole community working together to make things great again in the planet, it just didn't feel like a cohesive community. I didn't feel a major connection between any of them, even though some of them were supposed to be in relationships or have some sort of connection with each other. The added frog-like species also felt very out of place, as if they didn't belong in the game. They do have several side quests to help get to know them a little more and figure out their stories, but overall, they just feel sort of thrown in just to add variety in the kind of inhabitants of the planet. My biggest complaint about this game is that the majority of it consists of pure fetch quests. There's nothing very deep or meaningful about most of what you're asked to do, aside from some very minor side quests that pose some pretty deep feelings about grief. You spend most of your time running around doing everybody's business and tasks. Collect 10 of these, 20 of those, while gathering types of computer components that all go towards van upgrades. The most of actual strategy or thinking would be in cases where you would try to figure out how to access certain areas in order to collect all the items that are part of these actual fetch quests. I get this is an exploration game, but with no combat, no time restrictions, and no stress, and endless grinding of fetch quests, it just makes it boring in my opinion. I have no problem with a game that promotes a cozy gameplay experience with no combat or other stressful elements, but there should be some sort of aspect in the game that introduces some sort of a challenge to keep the players intrigued and entertained. My interest levels were pretty low the more I progressed in the game, sadly. As for features, it's got all the basic it needs for this type of game, such as accessibility options, motion sickness reduction, customizable global controls, and video settings. There is a feature that shows all the controls of your van on the bottom left corner of your screen. However, there is no way to remove it. Driving the van isn't really rocket science, and after a while you get the hang of it, so I wish there was a way to toggle that off so I have less UI clutter. You also have the ability to toggle stick controls for the van if you're using a controller rather than having the standard controls, which I thought was pretty cool to include. Then you also have a mini map, which I always find useful and tend to always want in all of these kind of games, but you don't have the option to toggle it on and off for those that don't want it. You do have the option, however, to lower the opacity of the UI. Now, this next feature was recently promoted as coming to the game at a later date after launch, so sadly I wasn't able to test it out, and that's the photo mode. I personally love games that have any kind of photo mode, allowing me to just freeze time and tinker around creatively with some visuals. And then we have the gameplay mechanics. Again, considering it's a pretty simplistic game, there's really not a whole lot of mechanics here. The main mechanics are all the features of your van. The driving aspect of the game felt pretty good. Getting in and out of the van is quick and flawless without any animation interruption whatsoever, and ran smoothly without any issues at all for me. There's enough traction to make it feel pretty grabby on the ground without it feeling too heavy. It felt just right. Then you have all the upgrades to the van that gives you a grapple hook and a scanner that serve multiple purposes each, like ziplining and hacking various things, as well as serving as a power source. It's literally just you and your van against the world. Alright y'all, it's time to put this all together and see what the Jade score for Caravan SandWitch is. Starting off, we have graphics and art style landing a 7. The game wraps you up in cozy and aesthetically pleasing visuals, setting the tone for a cozy gameplay experience. As for the performance, it brings in a solid 9. Personally, I didn't come across any performance issues that took away from my gameplay whatsoever. Everything felt smooth, polished, and just right. The sound category also lands a 9 due to its hauntingly beautiful soundtrack and immersive sounds throughout the entire game, never making anything seem repetitive. It's truly the star of the show. Next, we have the features category, pulling a 6.5. Although it has all the basic features it needs, I feel there is some room for improvement and can use some added features to make things a little more effective and enjoyable. The gameplay mechanics, however, brings in a 5.4. I believe there were a lot of opportunities missed in this game for some added mechanics that could be integrated with the van, such as gardening feature or even a fishing mechanic that would have done very well being on top of the van. Considering there's a point in the game that revolves around seeds and cultivating, cozy gardening would have done very well here. The story category lands a flat out 5. There's a lot of potential for the story to be better, but as it stands, there's a lot of holes in the story, followed by an overwhelmingly disappointing cliffhanger and too many fetch quests to keep any interest. As for the originality, it also lands a 5. The visuals, story, and overall mechanics of the game all feel very similar and doesn't offer much uniqueness. You have a post-apocalyptic world that needs to be recultivated and a looming corporation that was the root cause of all of the previous destruction. The fun factor category comes in at a 5.8. I did enjoy driving around in the van quite a bit and had fun exploring some new and interesting areas, but the lack of mechanics made me lose interest pretty quickly. The cozy level brings in a 7. The whole game promotes nothing but cozy vibes, marketing it as a no combat, no stress, no time restrictions, but it doesn't bring in any other factors that keep it from being boring versus cozy fun. And lastly, the replayability category brings in a 5. Without spoiling anything, at the end of the game, it takes you to the end credits without any chance to come back with all of your progress to continue free roaming the world. Once you finish the story, that's it. If you had any side quests that you thought you can come back to do, not realizing that the story was ending, you would have to load back in from your previous checkpoint in your save and replay it, already knowing everything that happens at the end. I personally lost interest in coming back to do the last little bit I had left after all the credits all started rolling in. Overall, you can also finish the game within 8 to 10 hours. Alright, and now for the final tally. The Jade score for Caravan SandWitch is 64.7. Overall, I feel the game has potential, but as of right now, it needs some work, especially with the story development and gameplay mechanics. While it's definitely a cozy game that you can relax to after a stressful day, it just wasn't enough to hold my interest and keep me entertained. With some fine-tuning here and there, adding some more gameplay mechanics to get you busy while exploring and filling some holes up in the storyline, I think it could become something better. But for now, it's gonna be a pass for me. So you've heard my opinion, but now I want to know yours. What do you think of this game? Have you had the chance to try it out? Was it a hit or was it a miss, or is it just meh for you? What are some things that you would change or not change in the game? Let me know in the comments below. I would love to know. And as always, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell to get notified of all of my future cozy chaos content. Alright guys, until the next time, happy gaming. Bye!